when I was tortured and abused to death. My brother was accompanying my cousin to a painting exhibition. The last words my brother said to me were, "You don't deserve a birthday." I was secretly glad, however, that my brother's refusal allowed him to escape. The next day, he did criminal psychological profiling for a murder scene. Based on the scene, he hypothesized that the murderer had acted out of revenge, that his methods were vicious, and that the victim had suffered horrific abuse during his lifetime. He failed to deduce that the person who died was his own sister, whom he hated the most. I was dismembered after my death, and the murderer dumped my body and then deliberately let the murder scene be discovered. The police department received a report of the crime, and immediately sent out a team of men to rush to the scene. The abandoned workshop, the pungent odor of blood. If I hadn't experienced it myself, I would have suspected that someone was playing art with animal blood. I floated in midair, shocked at how people could bleed so much. I had forgotten that there were two of us. The police dog sniffs the ground and barks furiously at the minced meat on the floor. My brother wrinkles his brow as he roams the scene back and forth numerous times, finally deducing what happened to me before I died with his eyes closed. My brother was the youngest and most powerful criminal profiler in the department, and he had solved countless difficult criminal investigation cases in his hands. The police officers were doing their jobs, taking pictures, taking evidence, looking for clues. And they all knew that they must not be disturbed when my brother's eyes were closed and he was deducing. Time ticking, brother eyelashes fluttering, face gradually pale, and finally almost transparent. His hand gripping the quill was so hard that it turned white, cold sweat sliding down his temples as his breathing grew rapid. This is simply horrific killing. According to my profiling, the murderer was intent on revenge, with ruthless methods. The victim was a female, subjected to brutal execution, and dismembered after bleeding out. My brother is worthy of being able to make an accurate deduction based on the scene alone. The police officers stopped what they were doing and looked at him with a serious expression. Brutal execution. Are you sure? My brother has seen so many murders. He should have been able to see a mountain crumble in front of him without changing his color. But at this moment he is like a drowning fish. It's not far off. Everyone knows what his brother means by brutal execution. A familiar modus operandi. My brother raised his hand and tried to draw on the white paper. But he was trembling so badly that he couldn't hold the tip of the pen. The criminal police officer beside him patted his shoulder. Mr. Jiang. Maybe it's a coincidence or a copycat. For some reason, while his brother was trying to profile the murderer, his brush stroke drew the victim first. The silhouette looked like me. Only when he reached the 5 features, he stopped his brush. I knew he must have been thinking of the unsolved murder. He took out his cell phone, flipped to my phone number, hesitated for a long time and pressed the dial button. There was no answer. He impatiently waited for 3 times, then hung up the phone, his mouth disgusted. Do not answer it. What the hell? Maybe it was because I was ignoring him, who had always answered his calls, or maybe it was because the scene was too bloody, and my brother was annoyed. Captain Miller, we have something new. Look at this. There's something strange about the blood here. After hearing about the new discovery, my brother walked over to the bloodstain that belonged to me. I saw him staring at the bloodstain with a frown on his face. Unfortunately, the traces I had left behind were covered by more blood. After the mass of blood dried, only the grotesque remained. It looked like scratches from a struggle before death. The traces section criminal police officer speculated after taking a picture. This statement was agreed by everyone. I was so anxious that I hissed at my brother. Brother, if you look more carefully, you might be able to discover the secret I left behind. He looked back and left with the criminal police. Back at the police department, my brother stayed up late to profile the murderer based on the scene photos. But just like that unsolved case, He could only draw the outline of the murderer, and had no idea about his facial features. He was so annoyed that he crumpled up the drawing paper into a ball and threw it all over the floor. I knew he was stuck in another unsolved case. Mr. Jiang, why don't you leave work for now? There will be more clues when the body is found. My brother rubbed his temples and accepted the offer. The murderer he hadn't been able to draw for 3 years was not something that could be taken care of in one night. 2 For the next 5 days, my body was found one after the other. And it went smoothly without a hitch. My guess is that the murderers did it on purpose. Otherwise, with their methods, I would have never seen the light of day in my life. I thought that the bones of the corpse would be dismantled at most. After all, that person had already been extremely close to venting his anger on me. Faced with nearly 100 broken pieces, I froze and threw up with the restorer. It was at this point that my brother entered the studio. Looking at the scattered pile of body parts, he frowned so much that he could pinch a mosquito. Did you find all the corpses? How come there are so many, Mr. Jiang? We're just missing the skulls. So far we can determine that the victims were 2 girls, which basically matches the amount of blood at the scene. My brother covered his mouth and nose, forcing down the physiological retching. Can the restoration work begin? The restorer couldn't bear to look at the corpses and sighed. They're all mixed together. It's hard to identify them. It's extremely difficult to work on them. The identity of the deceased will probably depend on the DNA identification, but we will try our best to reconstruct the body. And there may be clues on the body. The only thing we can determine is that the deceased are 2 young women, aged around 2,530 years old. My brother nodded and fled in a hurry, throwing up acid reflux in the restroom. I'm sorry to make him sick even though he's dead. Task force meeting. My brother boldly stated his own speculation. This murderer inflicted sadistic behavior on the 2 women, to rule out love killings. I'm sure it's a revenge killing. The murderer is psychologically strong, but his anti-detection skills are too weak. This is extremely unreasonable. Unless he deliberately let us discover the scene and the bodies. But he mixed the bodies together to make our job more difficult. Like he's testing us to see if we can find the clues. You're great. You guessed it all correctly. Too bad there's no reward. What do you mean? Provocation. It's possible. He could be hiding in the dark, observing our progress. The DNA test results will be out in 3 days. I suggest hiding the identity of the deceased when the results are out. Xiao Jiang. Do you suspect that this case is the same murderer as the one back then? My brother nodded feebly. His clenched hands bruised. If I'm not wrong, as long as we continue to be clueless, we'll receive other surprises. Captain Miller's eyes reddened as he heard his brother's deduction, turning his back and slamming his fist hard against the wall. Those damn animals. Because of his brother's speculation, Captain Miller left his brother behind after the meeting was adjourned. Jiang, regardless of whether your speculation is true or not, you siblings must pay attention to your personal safety. Don't worry, Captain Miller. I will protect Sophia. The firmness under his brother's eyes was even firmer than the day he joined the party. He is really only determined to protect his cousin Sophia. My lungs are stuffed with a ball of wet cotton, so hard that I feel like dying again. Captain Miller frowned, dissatisfied with the accusation. Captain Miller frowned, accusing him with displeasure. I'm talking about your own sister, Sven. My brother raised an eyebrow and grunted. She's too scared for her own good. Don't worry about her safety. Seeing his brother's disinterest in me, Captain Miller was about to say something, but finally patted him on the shoulder. How many years have passed, and you still can't get over it? She's the only family your mom and dad left you. She lied and killed my mom. I can't get over it. She doesn't deserve to be my family. The only sister I have is Sophia. The brother, who has always been calm and collected, lost control of his emotions when he mentioned the events of that year. Captain Miller, do you know what she asked of me yesterday? She wanted me to celebrate her birthday on the anniversary of her mother's death. She had the heartless delusion that I would say happy birthday to her. Captain Miller, it's Sophia's birthday. I have to get back. I was in tears. I haven't had a birthday in as many years as my mom has been dead. I know I don't deserve it. But, brother, I really didn't mean to disgust you yesterday. I was just trying to give him a hint, hoping that he would understand and that I would actually hear him say happy birthday to me before I died. In the end, I was being extravagant. Point 3. I followed my brother all the way home. On the way, he bought Sophia's favorite sunflower and picked Sophia's favorite durian cake. Satisfied, he called Sophia several times in a row, but no one answered. My brother panicked. He was afraid that something would happen to Sophia, overtaking the car 10 times and don't drive 8 times along the way. I was in the passenger side and could clearly sense the panic inside my brother's heart. My brother got out of the car and ran furiously to his home. His hand trembled on the door handle, but he didn't dare to push. Sophia, Jia Jia. My brother's voice trembled. This kind of panic I've only seen on his face when Mom and Dad died. The door snapped open, and Sophia rubbed her sleepy eyes, her eyes full of grievances. Brother, why did you just come back? Did you forget what day it is? I envy Sophia for being able to accuse her brother with impunity. Those who are loved are always emboldened. Unlike me, who can only weekly pray for a birthday wish from my brother but can't get one. Brother's entire body relaxed when he confirmed Sophia was unharmed, and he hugged Sophia with all his strength as if he had lost and found her. Jia Jia, you didn't answer your phone call. You scared me to death. Brother, I'm sorry. I fell asleep waiting for you. Sophia was full of apologies. Her voice choked. Her brother was afraid of Sophia's crying and immediately coaxed her with a warm voice. I won't forget such an important day. My brother pulled out an old jewelry box from his pocket as if he was doing a magic trick. Jia Jia, happy birthday. When I saw what was in the box, I went crazy and grabbed it. But I couldn't stop my brother from taking out the jade pendant and putting it around Sophia's neck. It was clearly a birthday present bought for me by my mom. I'm willing to let him hold the jade pendant to send his thoughts. But what is she? Sophia. Sophia knows the significance of this jade pendant, and refused to accept it. But her hand gently caressed the jade pendant, half happy, half sad. Thank you, brother. But this jade pendant is a birthday gift from my aunt to Z-Man's sister. I can't take it. If Z-Man comes back and sees it, why don't you take it off? I'm really fed up with her White Lotus look. My brother interrupted her. It's my mom's legacy. It's none of Emily's business. Elegant and gentle brother. Scolding me is really degrading. Sophia's eyes flashed with a smug smile, and she pretended to be concerned about me. Brother, does Siwan still refuse to go home? It's been so many years. Have you contacted her lately? Thanks to you, I can float home. Thinking of the pain of brutal execution, I couldn't help but want to strangle Sophia. What's the point of mentioning her on a good day? You don't mind the bad luck either. My brother never hid his dislike for me, but he still took out his cell phone. Sophia suddenly covered her chest. Brother, I feel so bad. My brother, who had a gloomy face just now because of me, immediately put away his cell phone and changed his face to one of eagerness and worry. Jia Jia, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? Brother, my heart hurts. I feel like I'm going to die. Hearing this, he immediately picked up Sophia to take her to the hospital, but Sophia refused. Brother, don't toss it. It's old. Anger and guilt shifted constantly on his brother's face. He was angry about the car accident that I caused, and guilty that Sophia was implicated by me. I was the only one who knew that Sophia didn't have any after effects at all. She was faking it. But my brother is eating her up and trusting her. I somewhat expected my brother to find out the truth quickly, and feared that he would point for my brother answered the phone the next day and hurriedly made breakfast for Sophia to go out. And Sophia asked him worriedly, "Brother, is there a clue to that dismemberment case?" Brother nodded without hesitation. The murderer was very arrogant and directly sent a threatening letter. Sophia exclaimed, "This is too arrogant. Isn't it? Brother, you must be careful when you go out. Jia, you too. I suspect that the murderer is the one who killed my dad back then. If you find anything unusual lately, you must call for help in time." Sophia glanced at her brother's cell phone. Her face turned pale. She was busy nodding her head, and then hesitantly said, "Brother, then I will also talk to Siwen, in case that person is heartless and harms her. Don't worry about her. If people want to take action, it's also on us. She's just a waste. It's not worth for people to deal with. I'm a waste of money. So I am a waste." I laughed out tears. My brother rushed to the police department and Captain Miller handed him a drawing. The technical section has expedited the identification. The blood is that of one of the deceased. The painting was of a spider lily drawn in my blood, and it was lifelike. If it weren't for the foul odor, it would have been a masterpiece. My brother stared at the painting, his whole body in a state of secrecy. At that moment, the restorer had an update report. "Captain Miller, we cleaned up the two bodies overnight. And so far we've pieced it together, but one of the dead is missing two pieces." Captain Miller was busy taking his brother to the studio. According to reason, the murderer wouldn't dump the body for two pieces alone, unless these two pieces were the key point to break the case, just like the skull. My brother was staring at the missing body parts with a deadpan expression. Maybe the murderer did it on purpose, or maybe he wasn't skilled enough in dismemberment. The red birthmark on the bottom of my foot left a little edge. The body piece had taken on a giant view, and the birthmark was somewhat distorted, just vaguely visible where a red birthmark should have been. The other missing piece was my wrist. When I was a child, I climbed a tree and fell, leaving a cross scar on my hand. If these two pieces are complete, I believe that without the need for a head or DNA, my brother can immediately identify the deceased. My brother forcefully averted his eyes and continued to stare at the spider lily in his hand, his eyes dark and his voice muffled. "Captain Miller, can I access my mom's car accident case from that year? The scene of the car accident where my mom and sister-in-law died tragically. There was also a painting, just scribbled with the word spider lily. The car accident case back then was investigated and closed as an accident. Now, the appearance of the spider lily makes the brother and Captain Miller extremely serious. Even though one is a painting and the other is a word, seemingly unrelated, and the level of calligraphy and painting is very different. Captain Miller trusts his brother's intuition. Brother flipped through the case file and compared the two paintings and calligraphy. Impossible. I must have guessed wrong. Captain Miller did not understand what he meant by this. Xiao Jiang. Do you have a deduction? My brother immediately shook his head. It's probably just a coincidence. Otherwise Emily couldn't have survived back then. Captain Miller knew that his brother was easily agitated when he mentioned me, so he tried to ask him, "Have you been in touch with C-Man lately? It's best to give her a heads up about this." My brother looked up in dissatisfaction. "Captain Miller, didn't I tell you? She has nothing to do with me." Captain Miller immediately followed up. "That means she hasn't contacted you since that day." My brother became more and more puzzled. "I'm sick and tired of her. Why do you keep asking about her?" I laughed bitterly from the side. "Brother, you don't have to worry about me bothering you anymore. Captain Miller, there is a homicide specialist from the province, asking to see Mr. Jiang." The female police officer ran in with a flash of smoke to inform, breaking the awkward atmosphere. "Looking for me?" "Yes." He asked for Mr. Jiang by name. Captain Miller glanced at his brother and frowned. "Jiang, hurry up and go. I'll let you know when there's a new development. In the parlor, my Captain David introduced himself with a grave expression. Jacob, have you been in contact with your sister lately? My brother was puzzled. We had dinner together this morning. What are you? Not that cousin of yours. It's your own sister Emily. My brother immediately showed disdain and exasperatedly said, Is she getting into trouble outside again? Look at you in such a hurry. She killed someone. 5. David hardened his raised fist down at the words. She is the undercover officer under me. She has been missing and out of contact for a week. I am afraid that something has happened to her. If you have any contact with her, you must tell me the last time and the content of the call. My brother looked incredulous. What kind of international joke is this? If she was a police officer, I'd still be the chief of detectives. She's self-indulgent and uneducated. How can she still be a police officer? I'm afraid you've got it all wrong. Right. David couldn't stand it any longer and gritted his teeth. She is your own sister. I know that you two have a lot of disagreements. Have you ever thought that this is a misunderstanding? And what good is it to you if she dies? She's not my sister. And there's no misunderstanding between us. For the sake of Mom and Dad, if she dies, I'll take her body, my brother almost shouted out in a shaky voice. After 10 years, he still hates me so much. Obviously, I'm innocent too. 10 years ago, to celebrate my 15th birthday, my mom went to the airport to pick up my sister-in-law and Sophia, who had returned to China on purpose, and took us to the police academy to pick up my brother. Sophia saw the jade pendant that my mom had given me and was full of envy. Siwen's sister, this jade pendant is really nice. I was a bit proud. That's true. My mom went to the temple to ask for this pendant, and it was blessed by a high priest. Mom used to not be superstitious, but after Dad's death, she wished my brother and I well. Sophia caressed the jade pendant and handed me a glass of milk. Sis, I bought you strawberry milk at the airport. I was a bit hungry. I was a little hungry, so I took it and drank it. Not long after, I began to suffer from abdominal pain, as if I had eaten something bad. I told my mom, Mom, I have a stomach ache. Let me go down to the nearest toilet. As I curled up in pain, my mom finally found a public restroom. As I got out of the car and rushed to the public restroom, an out-of-control heavy truck crashed into my mom's car. I turned around and my eyes were bloodshot. My birthday has since become the anniversary of my mom's and sister-in-law's deaths. Sophia was shielded by her sister-in-law and survived. Only shards of glass pierced her chest. After taking Sophia to the hospital, the doctor said she was not seriously hurt. And I fell helplessly to the ground to look for my brother. By the time he arrived, my mom and sister-in-law were already covered in white cloth. I jumped into his arms looking for warmth, but he pushed me hard on the ground. You lying bastard. You killed Mom. I was bewildered. Brother, I didn't lie. I drank the strawberry milk Sophia gave me and that's why my stomach hurts. My brother kicked me in the leg. You're still unrepentant. Sophia drank it too. Why is she fine? You're the only one who's rich. Your stomach doesn't hurt when Mom and sister-in-law are dead. Seeing my loved ones die in front of me, the pain in my stomach was no longer something I could care about. It became my original sin. You killed 2 people because of your stomachache. Why aren't you the one who died? Yes. Why wasn't I the one who died? This is a question I've asked myself countless times. At the funeral, my brother and Sophia wore mourning, but I didn't, because I didn't deserve it. In front of the tombstone, my brother was finally willing to let me kneel from afar, but Sophia suddenly fell into my brother's arms and cried with chest pains. Brother Xiao. Am I going to be an orphan from now on? My brother panicked and calmed her down. Jia Jia, you're not an orphan. I'll be your real brother from now on. After that, my brother shouted at me, get lost. Don't dirty the path of Mom and Auntie's reincarnation. If I see you hanging around in front of Judge Ya again, I'll beat you up." At that time, Sophia narrowed her eyes and glared at me with hatred, and pretended to be soft and sad when her brother bowed his head. She wasn't badly hurt. She was just pretending to be sick. Sophia had a hand in killing mom and sister-in-law. I blamed her. My anger pouring out in the pouring rain. "Don't you want me, brother? I'm your own sister. If it wasn't for Sophia's glass of milk, none of this would have happened. How can Sophia be so guilt-free, and why am I the only one at fault?" But my brother didn't believe me. He scolded me. "If you've made a mistake, you should admit it instead of blaming others. Sophia was orphaned because of you, but she hasn't said a word about blaming you." Trust collapsed. Unloved. I gave up on myself, skipped school, and became a punk in an attempt to get my brother's attention. He did pay attention to me, but he thought that I had tainted my parents' family honor, so he removed me from his family register and broke off his relationship with me. Sven, I can't accept the fact that you're my sister. It's your choice to degrade yourself. They'll take care of your body after you've killed yourself, for the sake of brotherhood and sisterhood. I was so desperate to die, but Agent Ross and David saved me, and since then, my father's alarm was reactivated. And my brother. He was prophetic. Point 6. The door was pushed open vigorously. Captain Miller's face was pale. "Do team, Chao Jiang. Dismemberment case DNA identification results are out." The room was quiet. It is really the expression of Captain Miller staring at his brother that makes people's hearts numb. Brother forced his trembling hand and slowly said, "Well, finally there is good news." Captain Miller's face was full of intolerance, and he gave the DNA comparison report to David. After David read it, he viciously smashed the table. "It's true, the two, Captain Miller and David, have looked at his brother, but half a day cannot hold a word." His brother pretended to be relaxed and asked, "Why are you looking at me like that?" The room was quiet. As if a century had passed, Captain Miller said with a face full of pain, "One of the female bodies is your own sister, Jiang Xining." The cup in his brother's hand could no longer be held and snapped to the ground. He opened his mouth with red eyes. What did you say?" Captain Miller gently patted his brother's shoulder. "Jiang, I know it's hard for you to accept it for a while. Condolences." These words seemed to have drained all of his brother's strength. He rushed to the restorer's studio like a madman, but knocked over Sophia, who had rushed over to bring food to him, and Sophia sat down on the ground, weeping. "Brother, what are you doing?" She sat down on the ground, rubbing her legs, and waited for the rest of the day. She sat on the ground and rubbed her legs, waiting for her brother to help her up as he always did. Every time she cried, my brother's heart broke, and whenever she cried out in pain, my brother wanted to replace her with his own body. These are the kind of care and love I used to have at my fingertips. But I haven't felt it in 10 years, and I envy Sophia from the bottom of my heart. Just when I thought that my brother would care for her as he always did, he only took one look at Sophia and continued to run to the studio. "No, brother. I fell and hurt. I can't get up." Hiss. Her cries of pain didn't make her brother stop half a step for it. It was Captain Miller who shook his head and scooped her up. "Sophia, your brother. Ugh. Go keep an eye on him and comfort him." Sophia blinked her foggy eyes and asked innocently, "Captain Miller, what's wrong with my brother?" Captain Miller sighed deeply. "Your sister Emily. She's dead." Sophia covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. "How could that be? Is it a mistake?" Captain Miller stopped her. "You're a girl. Don't go to the recovery room. You won't be able to stand it." Sophia cried fiercely. "I'm not afraid. I just want to see if she's my sister or not." "Maybe you've made a mistake. How can she be dead?" Obviously, originally, Sophia, as a family member, was not allowed to enter the studio. but Captain Miller sympathized with her brother's loss and eventually let Sophia in. At this moment, I don't blame myself for being disliked by my brother. It is said that a pampered woman has the best life. Since my mom died, I seem to have lost my pampering skills. Because I killed them by pouting about having to go to the bathroom, I've also lost my pampering skills because no one loves me anymore. Sophia, on the other hand, seems to have been born to garner sympathy and attention, and she got the full emotional value of my favorite brother. If she hadn't chosen the wrong path, I really wouldn't have minded her stealing my brother. After all, I was partly responsible for my sister-in-law's death. If I hadn't celebrated my birthday, my sister-in-law and Sophia wouldn't have returned at all. What I owed her, I paid back with my life. But she lost money to Agent Ross. It's her turn to redeem herself. When I fell into the hands of the murderer, I swore in my heart to the flag that I would never let Agent Ross die in vain, and I won't let Mom and Dad and the other fallen comrades die in vain. Sophia stopped hard when she saw the body in front of her brother, and couldn't help but dry heave. Brother, is this? See man, how could this be? How come? Sophia's acting skills could win an Oscar. She personally tricked me into a desperate situation, and personally dipped her hands in my blood and drew the spider lily. Has she forgotten so quickly? How could she be so gullible as to think that the other side would just give me a slight warning? Perhaps brother had protected her so well that she had forgotten her status as a special family member. My brother didn't bother to observe Sophia's meltdown and excellent acting skills as he searched through the body parts with deadened teeth based on memories from his early childhood. As a toddler, my brother and I counted the moles on each other's bodies, and he was always quick and accurate. Brother was great as always. He must love me. Otherwise, how could he be so fast and accurate in finding all the body parts with moles? At this moment, I seemed to feel my soul was much lighter. 7 Brother trembled his hands and refused to believe it. There must be a mistake somewhere. This is definitely not Siwen's corpse. She's just like Xiao Cheng. How could she be dead? Sophia's eyes were filled with sadness as she listened. Brother. Could it be that the DNA identification equipment and comparison system of the police department is wrong? My brother's hand stayed on my corpse without a trace of disdain, shaking his head in confusion and pain. It's impossible. The equipment and system are the latest and greatest. It turns out that my brother also knows that there is no mistake in the identification. It can't be wrong. The other female corpse is the informant that your sister developed. Brother looked sideways at David, who walked in at an unknown time, and actually hung his head, not daring to look at my corpse again. My brother knew in his heart that the result couldn't be wrong. He just had a hard time accepting that I was really dead for a moment. I do not quite understand. Always hated the person died. He should not have a trace of happiness. Or is it that without the object of his hatred, he is not used to it for a while? I shudder to think that my brother was really having a hard time because of me. The pain of bereavement is not something he should experience again. Sophia stayed with her brother in the studio for a day and a night. The two of them not eating or drinking together. The crowd had to give both of them enough space to slowly come to terms with the truth. After Agent Ross and I were identified, my parents' case was merged into a serious case, and the province set up a task force to investigate. My brother was disheveled for a day, and his whole body was cloudy. When Captain Miller brought people to explore the scene again, my brother followed along despite the obstruction. This time, my brother has been staring at the bloodstains on the ground, and his face is more transparent than the first time when he deduced the murder. Captain Miller can't bear to see him immersed in this kind of bad fantasy, and wants to pull him up. But my brother is as stubborn as a donkey and fixed. I looked at my brother with anticipation. I really hoped he could see something, and if he couldn't, it could only be God's will. As I was disheartened, my brother traced rapidly on the paper. Sheet after sheet. He was like a machine, deducing the movements and postures that I had taken before my death, one by one. It wasn't that precise, but it was close enough. When he drew 20 pairs of drawings based on the bloodstains and blurred traces, he jumped up. I know. Sister has something to say to us. My brother organized the 20 pairs of drawings and traced out the Morse code. That was our favorite game when we were kids. My brother cracked it quickly, only he was very confused about what I meant. The table. He and Captain Miller led a team through the entire abandoned factory. Anything harmonic. And came up empty. I was so anxious and sweaty. I wanted to put on his body and lead him to it. I don't want the evidence that I and Agent Ross traded their lives for to be drowned in darkness. More than that, I didn't want my brother to die. That's right. If my brother couldn't find the evidence, he would be the next to die. And the next. Before he died, the murderer took my cell phone and familiarly typed in my brother's number. Officer Jiang, you know this number well, don't you? I ignored him. Do you think if I told him that his sister was kidnapped, he would come to ransom you? I snapped my eyes wide and glared at the man in front of me. If you dare to touch my brother, I will not let you go even if I die. The man snorted. The sharp knife slowly carved a mark on my face, blood pouring down. Your brother doesn't even want you anymore, and you still protect him. Shouldn't a normal person hate your brother? I viciously poo-pooed the blood. You're worse than animals. How would you know the value of family love? The man didn't care and pointed at Agent Ross on the ground. Your good sister is dying. If you want to live, call Jacob. I'd be a fool to let my brother die. Seeing that my bones were hard, the man injected a tube of something into me. Officer Kong, if you trick your brother into coming here, he'll let you live. Looking at the tube, I knew I was not going to live. But I had to make the call. Maybe Agent Ross could really make it to the rescue. Maybe my brother would notice the abnormality and wake up. 8 I dialed my brother's number as he wished. Even though my brother hated me and hated me, he would answer the phone when I called him occasionally over the years. Hey, are you in trouble again? No, brother. Today is my birthday. Can you stay with me? As if he had heard some funny joke. He laughed so hard that his chest shook. Emily, are you dreaming? You don't deserve a birthday. Of course I know I don't deserve it. I haven't had a birthday since my mom died. I tried to forget that it was my birthday, but I couldn't forget that it was the anniversary of my mom and sister-in-law's deaths. Brother, can you say happy birthday to me? No one answered me on the other end of the phone. Instead, Sophia's shout rang out. Brother, look at this painting. It's so delicately depicted. Guessing and verifying are two different things, and I wasn't sad to hear my brother's rejection in person. But if he can accompany Sophia to the exhibition, can't he say happy birthday to me? I'm dying. Isn't that too much to ask? Unfortunately, to my brother, all my requests were too much. Even my breathing was wrong. My brother hung up the phone and the man gave me a cruel smile. Officer Jiang, it looks like you'll have to go to the Yellow Springs with your little sister. Do you think your dad and mom will be waiting for you underground? If I cut you into 1,000 pieces, maybe they won't recognize you. You're an interesting family, each more stubborn than the other. I heard that your brother is a genius. I'd like to see how much of your mom's profiling talent he inherited. If so, they'll have to send your family back together. If not, your good cousin will die just like him. Father's debt, child's debt. It's exciting to think about it. Why don't you guess? Is your brother better or my medicine? At this moment, my whole body was bursting with hatred. But unfortunately, I was just a fish on the chopping board. To be slaughtered by him, I was literally a fish on a chopping block. Obviously, I was almost fainting from the pain, but my consciousness was so clear, and under the effect of that tube of medicine, the pain was magnified infinitely. I could clearly feel the severe pain coming from my body. The pain that had once cut my skin made my soul tremble once again. My brother returned home in a daze, and Sophia was sickly. as if she was truly distraught over my death. When my brother came home, he saw the jade pendant on Sophia's neck. He hesitated for a moment, and reached out his hand to Sophia. Jia Jia, give Siwen's jade pendant back to her, and my brother will buy you a new one. Sophia was a bit confused. Brother, didn't you say this is a birthday gift for me? My brother looked at Sophia in disbelief. This was originally Z-Man's birthday gift. I had handled it without authorization. And now that she's dead, it's unlucky for you to wear it. Sophia looked at her brother with a bit of disbelief. This was originally a birthday gift for Z-Man. I did something wrong with it. And now she's dead. It's bad luck for you to wear it. Her brother said something good for Sophia, but his tone was cold. No more patience and gentleness. Sophia deflated and took off her jade pendant and gave it to her brother. If Z-Man is wearing a jade pendant, maybe Auntie can protect her. I should have known better than to accept this gift. My brother's face turned pale. Yes. If I hadn't hijacked the jade pendant that belonged to Z-Man, she wouldn't have died. Mom and Dad will protect her. It was me. I'm the one who killed her. After Mom died, I knew that Z-Man would never celebrate her birthday again, but I didn't notice anything strange about her. She was asking me for help, but I said she didn't deserve a birthday. She died without hearing a word from me about happy birthday. Sophia's brother, the only family member he had ever known, showed his most vulnerable side, and Sophia gently hugged her brother, her eyes full of regret. It's me. I killed her. Brother lay on Sophia's shoulder and cried like a child. He didn't seem to hear Sophia's words. It was the first time I'd seen him cry since Mom and Dad died, and it was still because of me. It was a long-lost love that I would rather not have. How I wish he would be as cruel and cold to me as he was before. My heart aches, and I lift my hand to wipe his tears like I did when I was a child, but I can't wipe them away. That night, he hugged Jade Pendant all night long. I wanted so much to tell him, brother, I don't blame you. Jade Pendant is just Jade Pendant. Why are you superstitious? From the day I reactivated my dad's alarm, I knew that sooner or later I would be sacrificed like him. So, brother, I don't blame you at all. Please don't cry. Okay. If Mom and Dad knew I made you cry again, they'd whip me all over the house again like they did when I was a kid. My brother didn't sulk for long. He drew a profile portrait in the second half of the night, and then went to the police department the next day to draw again. Perhaps my death gave my brother a great stimulus. After I went around the police department, my brother deduced what I was trying to tell him. The bracelet. The bracelet could be found by finding my still missing wrist. So, a large group of people with police dogs went to the place where the body once appeared to make a serious investigation. Only my brother, alone, went to the abandoned factory. I screamed desperately behind him. Don't, brother, don't go alone. All my hissing was just impotent rage. As my brother stepped into the abandoned factory alone, the murderer appeared. I closed my eyes in despair. Brother, why are you so stupid? The sound of applause echoed through the abandoned factory. As expected of Jiang Huiguo's son, you have a lot of guts. You're smart. You're also very bold. You don't rush to the end of your life, but still dare to show up at the scene of the murder. The murderer is wearing a black hood. So far I haven't seen his real face, but I am certain that he is the Undertaker, the lone mercenary who is famous for his ruthlessness, specializing in making drugs and pharmaceuticals and his secretive movements. True to his name, he buried my dad at the border after he folded a base and a large shipment at his hands. My dad suffered brutal execution, just like me. Kid, you're still a bit more tender than your mom and sister. You don't even know who I am, and you dare to be so arrogant. My brother revealed an evil smile. Who says I don't know? Brother pulled out a folded profile portrait from his pocket. Upon seeing the portrait, the Undertaker and I were shocked in unison. Brother actually drew it. Humph. What's the point of knowing? You're just a smart ass. But it's too late. Your own sister is already dead. For the first time. My brother didn't lose his temper when he heard me mentioned. My sister is not dead. She lives forever in my heart. Where are the rest of the heads and bones? The undertaker pointed to the factory's abandoned toilet. It's been there, stinking for so long. You're incompetent. My brother ran straight to the abandoned toilet, leaving his back to the undertaker. My brother. Forget about it. Let's go. My brother did find traces of the moving work in the toilet. And he picked at the loose bricks with his bare hands. At the sight of my highly decomposed but round eyes, my brother let out a sharp roar. The undertaker's gun, at that moment, was also aimed at my brother's heart. Come out, or your dear cousin will be dead. My brother and I turned around at the same time, only to see Sophia walking out with bloodshot eyes. Jia Jia, what are you doing here? Run. Unsure, my brother recklessly lunged towards the undertaker for Sophia's safety. With a bang, Sophia fired. The aim wasn't too good. The bullet grazed past her brother's leg and missed the undertaker by a fraction of a second. Jia Jia, are you crazy? Get the hell out of here. Facing her brother's rage, Sophia aimed the gun at his head. I'm not crazy. I know exactly what I'm doing. The undertaker was extremely satisfied with the scene in front of him. Little cousin, hurry up and shoot your favorite cousin. Will you? Shut up. I'll beat you to death. I despair at Sophia's stupidity. Ha 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 ha. Funny. Are you sure you want to beat me to death? What's there to be afraid of? Once again, my heart skipped a beat. Sophia was a lunatic. No less. If she angers the undertaker, she and her brother won't be able to survive. The undertaker removes his black hood and turns to Sophia with derision. If you kill me, you'll really be an orphan. Sophia sees this disfigured man and murmurs, "Who are you?" The man looked up and laughed indulgently. In the next instant, Sophia and the sniper made their move at the same time. She fired 2 shots in a row, and the undertaker collapsed incredulously. Damn it. I'm surprised to be undermined by you. I thought you were on drugs. Sophia staggered to my head, kneeled down, and kowtowed. Sister Sivan, I'm sorry. I was wrong. She kept repeating this, and as Captain Miller and the others walked towards her, she looked deeply at her brother and shot herself in the temple. Blood splattered all over the floor. In this moment, I don't know if I should forgive her. While being abused, I knew Sophia was being lied to, her hatred being fueled step by step by the undertaker. The paranoid and perverted love for her brother also drove her crazy. So she did as she was told, and using Agent Ross' cell phone, she sent me a message. Abandoned factory on the west side of town. Come quickly. Never bring anyone. Agent Ross was deep in the enemy camp and had been missing for 2 months. On weekdays, she reported her progress to me at least once a month. Informant was missing and out of contact for no reason, so the probability was that something had happened. When I was getting more and more uneasy, I received a text message from Agent Ross, and I hesitated for a moment. I chose to believe her because she sent the message in Morse code, which I had taught her. No one knew except my brother and Sophia. It never occurred to me that the problem could be Sophia. On her birthday, she and my brother came to the abandoned factory to take my blood after the painting exhibition. She dipped me in my blood, drew the spider lily that the undertaker asked her to draw, and sent it to the police department. At that time, Sophia was too calm to be naive to think that she could punish me for my sins. Just as she calmly shot the undertaker and calmly killed herself, my brother found the bracelet on my wrist after the undertaker was subdued and taken away. Trembling, he opened the bracelet and found the hint message hidden inside. Following the message, they found all the incriminating evidence Agent Ross and I had gathered, enough to have the undertaker and associated gangs executed. Several hidden dens and large quantities of goods were discovered and destroyed, and the undertaker's identity was completely revealed. Unlike other criminal gangs that work together, the undertaker is a loner who never trusts anyone, but uses human nature to get ordinary people to work for him, and the people he exploits die without even knowing how. For example, Sophia. He was blindly confident in his drugs and poisons, thinking that Sophia would be his best aid to vengeance in the face of hatred, and his overconfidence caused him to botch the job. And the brother is not alone. Captain Miller and David, in case the operation is leaked by the murderer's detection, arranged 2 teams of people to take action. By analyzing the murderer's psychology, my brother deduced that he was extremely arrogant and confident, and that the bones and the things I hid were definitely still at the scene. They did not act rashly. And after combining the information provided by David, they made a precise plan of action in order to strike the right blow. Even without Sophia's presence, the undertaker would have fallen. There's just a good chance that the brother would have gotten hurt. And hurt he did, with the death of his own sister, and the cousin had loved as an eye candy for 10 years being bribed to go astray and commit suicide. It was a fatal blow to him. He kept his promise, and after restoring my body with a restorer, he drew a portrait of me with his own hands, exactly as I was on my birthday. On the portrait, he wrote, "Favorite sister." In front of the portrait, he said to me over and over again, "Sister, I am sorry. It's my fault. Happy birthday, sister. If you want to hear it, I'll tell you every day until you get tired of it." I was in tears. "Brother, thank you for taking my body." Life went on. My brother's profession didn't allow him to grieve too much, and he immediately got involved in a new case. When the dust settled, my brother gave Sophia and me a funeral. I didn't resent Sophia when we died. She stood next to me and kept apologizing. "Z-man, I don't know why I got carried away. I didn't think you would die. I'm sorry." Not holding a grudge doesn't mean forgiveness. She didn't know about my special status with Agent Ross, but that's no reason for her to go astray. She can hate me, beat me, curse me, and dominate my brother forever, but she shouldn't have gotten innocent people killed. Luckily, she had braked in time afterward to prevent further damage. "Cousin, thank you for saving my brother." My body faded and I seemed to hear my parents calling me. Turning around, they were waving at me. "One, Dad, Mom, silly girl, have you suffered? Are you aggrieved?" "No, it's a great honor to be born in the summer. The fight against criminals is not a war without smoke. For the sake of peace and prosperity, it's worth all the suffering." Mom and Dad held me in their arms, the embrace and warmth I remembered craving. Good. Our trickster Nyo has grown up. In the next life, let's guard this world together. I nodded my head and turned back to my brother, saying softly, "Dear brother, see you in the next life." And, when I was being abused, my sister was playing Lego with my brother. When I fell into a puddle of mud, my sister was celebrating my brother's birthday with him. When the call for help came to my sister, she said, "Fight, fight, fight. Don't keep calling me. How old are you? Can't you handle anything on your own?" That night, sister was called back to the police department to analyze the case. Sister was the most famous crime sketcher in the city, and had never failed to handle a case. But she drew all night, but none of them were my face. "Sister, I'm your most hated sister." Point one, my body had fallen from a height and was reduced to a puddle of mud. Several waves of policemen came, all looking at me gravely. The case soon alarmed the media. Soon, my sister also came. She should have come in a hurry, with a birthday hat on her head for her brother's birthday celebration. It looked out of place in this weird place. My sister was different from those cops. She just looked at me and went to the side to throw up. It turns out that hating someone makes her sick even if the other person is dead. Soon, I was brought back to Bureau of Investigation. My body was pieced together by 4 forensic pathologists. The 4 of them worked for 3 days and 2 nights. Well, the body finally looks human. But I couldn't put my head back together. The skull was too damaged to be put back together. Then they pushed me down from the 20th floor. A hammer that big, hitting the skull so hard. Even if Hua Tua came, he couldn't do anything about it. My sister has been at the station for 3 days, not letting her spend her birthday with her brother properly. She must hate me so much, right? Yeah. Can you draw? Sister came. Her hand gently touched my head. My whole body was full of sores and only this one I was intact. This pair of eyes of mine was carved out of the same mold as my sister's, so my sister hated this pair of eyes of mine the most. So, sister, you should have recognized me already, right? Sister touched my exposed skull and replied affirmatively. No problem. Officer Tan continued. The victim's bone age should be between 20 and 22 years old. And in terms of the destruction of the bodice tissues, she was subjected to inhuman torture during her lifetime, and should have been abused for only less than 12 hours or more. The coroner's sister went on to add, the left eyeball is presently intact and the right eyeball was penetrated by an iron rod. The deceased suffered a fatal blow to the head. It should be a very blunt object. Hammer, iron ball or something like that. So trying to draw a portrait of the deceased's life is a lot of work. Xiaoya will have to work hard for you in the next few days. These beastly things. Don't worry. I will definitely draw her original appearance. The forensic sister suddenly thought of something. Right. The deceased's 10 finger bones are missing, and is still continuing to look for them. The criminals should have tortured. The means are extremely cruel. Officer Tan looked at my sister. These days should be in the bureau. You first talk to your sister. Otherwise that little girl will be worried again. I was excited. If my sister called me, should then know that it's me that's lying on the corpse table right now. Right. No need. She's not in that position to know my schedule. It's better to call one. The criminal has not yet been caught. Let Xin stay put for a while. Sister, however, laughed mockingly. Nothing happens to anyone, and no one is more precious about their lives than she is. She just needs to stay out of trouble and cause trouble for me. Even if she dies, she'll die far away from me. But, sister, am not far from death. Am right beside you. After all these years, you still can't let go. Mom lost her legs forever in order to save her, and she didn't even shed a single tear or say a word. She's simply a demon. A cold-blooded monster like that shouldn't live in the world. Especially those eyes that look just like mine. I get sick every time I see them. Sister suddenly turned her head to look at me. Sister, did you think of something? Sister, did you recognize my eyes? Instead, my sister's eyes were on the iron sign next to me. She's only in her early 20s. If it's possible, I'd rather the one lying here be that inhuman monster. Every time my sister mentioned me, she was filled with hatred. But this time, I finally made my sister happy for once. Because the one lying there is your own sister. As for Mom, I feel guilty. I'm scared. I don't know how to face my mom, who had both her legs amputated to save me. Every night, I beat my legs with remorse. Why wasn't I the one who had my legs amputated? Yes. Before I died, that person came to my house, always looking for my sister. They were so scary and fierce looking. They were going to stop my sister on the road. I was afraid that my sister would run into them. So I lied. I said my name was Zhouya. They really didn't know what my sister looked like, so they took me for my sister. They took me into their van. I was so scared. I thought, at most, they would teach me a lesson, but I didn't expect. But there is no return. My sister thought of something and went out with her cell phone. She went to call her brother. Little phone, don't run around during this period of time. Pay attention to safety, okay? Good boy. Sister will go back and buy you Lego. The house couldn't even pile up her brother's Lego anymore. Sister, how I wish you can also love me once. But my sister hates me. She hates me so much. If I knew I died to save my sister, sister would be even more disgusted, right? She would hate me to death. When I came back, my sister locked herself in her room. She changed her sketch paper one after another. I looked at it. It really looked like it. Those are my eyes. But why? On each piece of paper, did my sister only draw one eye and then stop? It was so similar. Overnight, the walls of the 10-square-meter room were covered with portraits. But none of them were of me. When Officer Tan came in, he looked all over the wall. Finally, he laid his eyes on a pile of scraps next to the easel. Every single one of them had an eye on it. That's right, this is me. Why are these all one eye? It's a mistake, sister. You're the best criminal sketch artist in the city. How could you make a mistake? Suddenly, Officer Tan lifted the drawing up to be alongside his sister. What's wrong? Officer Tan dragged his sister to the mirror. Look, doesn't this eye look exactly like you? Officer Tan blushed. As I recall, Xin Zin's eyes look just like yours, don't they? Sister tore the picture to shreds. Don't be ridiculous. I'm just a little tired after a few big nights these past few days. Officer Tan, however, wasn't going to let it go. Where's Xin? You give Xin a call. It's better to know. These 2 days are not peaceful. Don't meet any danger. Don't worry. She has 2 points at school and home every day. What could happen? Wait for me to have a good rest and then redraw it. Sister took a thermos cup and went out to get water. A co-worker greeted her. Xiaoya. Happy birthday, Xiaoya. Are you done? Let's have dinner tonight. Sister forgot her birthday. Officer Tan immediately went out to check. She was looking for me. Because every year at this time, I would hold a cake and squat at the door. Even though my sister had confiscated it once, I did the same as usual. Xiaoya. How come Shenchen didn't come to bring you a cake this year? I told you to call Xin. Did you? Officer Tan's voice clearly carried a hint of nervousness. Sister sipped the hot water and held her cell phone up for Officer Tan to see. On it was a text message from me. Sister, happy birthday. Wishing you happiness every day. Officer Tan then breathed a sigh of relief. My sister grunted and tapped the delete button. She's always so clingy. It's so annoying. When will she stop bothering me? Sister, in the future, I will never annoy you again. Because that was my last time text message. At that time, there was blood all over my hands. I knew that my sister was going to have a birthday. I couldn't come to this year's birthday. So, before I died, I only edited this hurriedly timed text message. It's all family. Let bygones be bygones. Your family. She's not my kin. Much less family. They'll take a nap first. It was dark when my sister woke up from her sleep. She walked around outside, and every now and then she glanced towards the surroundings. What was sister looking for? Officer Tan came over with the papers. Xiaoya, is Shenchen still not here? Will you give her a call? It's best if she doesn't come. I'm going to work. This time. Officer Tan grabbed his sister. The serious look forced my sister to give me a call. A machine voice rang out. Sorry. The number you have dialed is off. Sister looked up at Officer Tan. I told you. She's only going to cause me trouble. Heh. Turning off the phone and not answering it. This is just blaming me for not replying to her text messages. She'd better not turn it on for the rest of her life. Yes. My cell phone will never be turned on in my life. By the way, it's been 4 days and this body hasn't been claimed yet. Officer Tan shook his head. Not yet. What the hell is this mother doing? Didn't the family even realize the child wasn't there? Forget it. I'll go to the portrait first. Sister hurried in. But, my family, that's you. Sister. About 2 hours later, Officer Tan hurriedly barged in. Sister was so startled that the pencil in her hand broke. Scared me. What's going on? And that drawing of my sister's finally made another breakthrough. Sis actually drew my other eye. Sister is so great. Did Xin's call go through? No. What's wrong this? Come out with me for a minute. Someone's looking for you. Sister followed out, and outside the door, surprisingly, was my teacher, Qianlan. My teacher was the best to me. She was brought to me by the coroner. Teacher, you came to see me. Soon, my sister and Officer Tan also came. Teacher Qian, what brings you here? Did Zhou Xinxin get into some trouble at school again? Sister instantly exploded. When exactly will Zhou Xinxin stop causing trouble for me? Saying this, my sister dialed my phone again. But this time, the phone actually got through. Zhou Xinxin, I'll give you 3 minutes to give me a roll to Bureau of Investigation. Your teacher has found this. Can you not always give me trouble? You really. The phone but interrupted my sister's words. Hello. I am a criminal police officer from Bureau of Investigation. My name is Song Ming. May I ask what is your relationship with Zhou Xinxin? Sister froze for a second as she looked at the phone. Hung up and headed outside. Song Ming, what are you up to? Why is Zhou Xin's phone with you? Xiao Ya. Zhou Xinxin is your sister. Yeah. What did she commit? Been detained. Song Ming pursed his lips and stood up. This cell phone was picked up at the crime scene and just turned on. Sister clenched her fist and slammed it on the desktop. This Zhou Xinxin. What the hell is she doing all day? Surprisingly running to the crime scene. Is she finding it exciting? Isn't she afraid of destroying the crime scene and arresting her? Sister was so angry. Her neck was red with anger. Song Ming handed his cell phone to his sister. It's your sister's. I thought it was the victim's. Sister took my cell phone. She must still be cursing me in her heart this time. Right. Xiao Ya. How old is your sister? 20. Why? Song Ming glanced at the coworker next to him, and the two of them fell silent together. They've already guessed it. Right. That cold corpse. It's me. But my sister is still angry. As if. She doesn't know it's me yet. Officer Tan also came out with the papers. The dead man's identity has been claimed. All the police officers in the hall stood up. Sister asked. Claimed by whom? Teacher Qian. Surprisingly, she's from the same school as Zhou Xinxin. Sister, didn't you ever suspect that it was actually me that was lying there? The teacher came out quickly. Teacher's eyes are red. Did the teacher cry? Mr. Qian, is the victim your student? When will her relatives come over? The teacher looked at her sister, her lips opening and closing, but she never made a sound. Officer Tan gritted his teeth and handed the document in his hand to his sister. Yeah. You. Sign it. What do I sign? Wait for the family. Then, the hall was dead silent. Inside, it's Xin. My sister took a step backward. her expression unable to tell if she believed it or not. My sister ran towards me and lifted the white cloth from my head. The spotlight was too shaky. Sister, we meet again. Sister, look at my eyes. Do you remember who I am? Why did sister cover the white cloth again? Oh, yes. Sister doesn't like these eyes of mine. This is not show xin. The teacher's tears fell down in bunches. Xin is my best student. This is xin. Im show xin zin sister. Don't I know it? Sister pushed the teacher out and pushed Officer Tan away again. Sister went out to call her mom. Mom, where's Shenchen? At home. Put her on the phone. It's your birthday today. Xin should be at the office. What? Xin isn't with you today. Sister's hands are shaking. Sister, are you too happy? Hey Dad, is Shenchen at your place? It's your birthday today. Isn't Xin at your place? Hey, Auntie, it's me, Xiaoya. Is Xin at your place? Xiaoya, it's your birthday today, isn't it? Is Xin not with you? Hey. My sister called for 20 minutes right there. But they all said that I was with my sister. But it was true, I was indeed with my sister. Sister didn't believe anyone, and went back to the house, where she was going to continue drawing portraits of the dead. This time, my sister sat in front of me and touched my head to draw the portrait. 30 minutes later, Officer Tan knocked on the door and came in. Xiaoya, the DNA comparison is out. Sign it. Sister put the pencil down and did not say a word. Picked up a knife and cut hard on the drawing paper. Looking at the portrait, I couldn't help but be amazed. I finally comprehended the words. My sister is the best crime sketcher in the city. She's never missed a case. Sister, it's amazing. I can't believe she drew me so well. Officer Tan handed over the file, but my sister ignored it. I know you feel bad in your heart, but... Before Officer Tan finished his words, he was sidetracked by a look from his sister. Why am I hard? Swish swish. Sister quickly signed. I knew it. How could my sister be difficult? Sister couldn't be happier. In the next few days, sister hardly closed her eyes. She seemed to be busy. And then again, she seemed to be busy with nothing. My cell phone was cracked, and they were finally going to find out about the recording I had left. That day, when I realized they were looking for my sister, I pressed record and hid it in an anonymous folder. That's the best sketch artist in the city. Once that case is meddled by her, Big Brother will definitely be caught. That sketch artist must be found tonight. Originally there were voices in the hall. Hearing this, the hall went dead silent. Where is that sketch artist? Isn't this her home? Not at home. Go squat on her road. You guys. Looking for someone. I am Zhou. A few people looked at each other. How come she's so small? I don't know. Third brother. Look at the photo. These eyes are exactly the same. I remember. At that time, they took a photo without my sister's full face. But those eyes, I recognized them. Because it's exactly the same as me. In the hall, everyone looked at sister. Sister had one pair of eyes staring tightly at the computer. Sister probably didn't notice the gazes of the others. Then, a long time after the audio, that was when I got on the bus. I had just left the city center when they tortured me in the car. It was playing loudly in the lobby, and the sudden screams coming from me made everyone's hair stand on end. What followed was my 3-hour-long scream, as well as the sounds of the maniacs laughing and joking. Sister, All your hatred for me was repaid to me in turn by several of them. Are you happy? A few forensic sisters' tears fell several times. Heh heh heh. The city's best sketch artist. These hands. They're ruined today. Don't. Ah. Then. There was the sound of bones breaking inch by inch. My thoughts pulled back and I couldn't help but shiver. The sound of water in the audio was the sound of them splashing water again and again after I fainted. Even the male officer started wiping tears from his eyes when the audio got here. Captain, we've found out. The big brother they're talking about is Wang Meng, the fallen fish from that case. Action. Everyone stood up and the audio came to an end. Hey Siri, send 3 days later time text message to sister. Sister, happy birthday. Wish sister. Every day happy. The scene was quiet again. And sister. Numb and flabby stood there. Sister, this is what happened. Officer Tan patted my sister's shoulder, and then led the people out. I thought that my sister would go home as usual. But I didn't expect her to come straight at me. As soon as my sister pulled off the white cloth, she clutched my shoulder in a death grip, unceasingly shaking. Who asked you to go for me? Zhou Shenchen. You're bold, aren't you? Your name is Zhou Shenchen. You're not Zhou Ye. Who gave you permission to do this? Zhou Shenchen. Speak. I told you. My sister will definitely loathe me even more when she finds out. She hates me so much. How could she let me impersonate her? I was floating in the air. I wanted to get out. Zhou Shenchen. My sister was wrong. I stopped and looked back at my sister. What did sister just say? Wake up. Wake up. Mom and Dad went through my body towards my sister. Mom fainted from crying at the sight of me. Dad carried Mom to the side to rest. My brother wiped my sister's tears and held a large box in his hand. Ah yes. That's the birthday present I prepared for my sister. I've been preparing it for a long time. How come this brat took it? What's this? The younger brother answered truthfully. Second sister's birthday present for my sister. With shaking hands, my sister took the box and opened it. Inside was the bracelet that my sister had always wanted. I had saved up for a long time and bought it. Well, sister should be very high-hearted when she sees it. Right. But why? Sister, you cried. Shenchen. Sister is wrong. Sister knows it's wrong. Shenchen. You come back okay. My ears were buzzing and I couldn't hear anything. The phantoms of my body gradually began to disappear as well. I know that I can stay here for so long because I fought the obsession in my heart. It is not my sister's forgiveness, but the clock at 12 rings. Sister, happy birthday. Sister's birthday is my obsession. Birthday passed. I should also disappear. My brother suddenly pointed in my direction. Sister, sister, little children, they can always see something. I smiled towards my brother. Sister jerked her head up. What did you say? 2. It's second sister. My sister lunged in my direction and looked around. Zhou Shenchen, where are you? Zhou Shenchen. Sister was wrong. Little Feng, where is she? My brother pointed at me. She's disappearing. Zhou Xin. I forbid you to leave. No. I smiled and touched my brother's head. Little Feng, say happy birthday to sister for me. Shenchen, you hit me and scolded me. It's my sister who is bad. Shenchen. Sister. The second sister is gone. Sister clutched her brother's shoulders like crazy. Where did she go? Where did she go? I don't know, but second sister said. Said what? Say what? The second sister's eyes reddened and she cried out. Second sister said, Sister, happy birthday. One line of tears followed another as the older sister, still persistent, asked, And did she say forgive me? The younger brother blinked and shook his head in confusion. But second sister is dead. Sister, how is she supposed to forgive you? The younger brother's words completely shattered the defenses in his sister's heart. Sister broke down and sat on the floor, my portrait by her hand. By the time the others returned, my sister had reverted to her cold demeanor. The murderers were caught. 4 men executed. From that day on, my sister never wore her favorite pink dress again. She came to my grave in plain clothes. I sat on the tombstone and looked at my sister. Sister, this is your 6th visit this month. Is it because things are less busy at the bureau? It can't be because you miss me, can it? Sister hugged my tombstone, and every time she came, she brought my favorite fruits. So my sister knows what I love to eat. Unfortunately, I can't eat them anymore. On this visit, my sister seemed to be even more emaciated. On her arm, there are still a lot of scratches. Sister, in the end, what happened? The last minute I was in this world, my sister was still with me in front of the tombstone. She said so many words that I couldn't understand. But I don't regret saving my sister. My sister is the best sketch artist in the city. Tree apart, my sister is a pain in the ass. I hate her so much. The year my brother was born, my sister was greedy and ran out. A truck sped by and Mom had both legs amputated to save her. The day Mom woke up in the hospital, I dragged my sister over. Don't you have anything to say to Mom? But she kept her head down and didn't say a word. All of me burrowed tighter and tighter. I raised my hand and slapped her, and she stiffened without shedding a single tear. Shenchen is a beast without feelings. After that, I decided that I wouldn't care about Xin anymore. But she always seemed to like sticking to me, and every time, I turned a blind eye. You're really annoying. Stay away from me. If you don't live in school properly, what are you doing back here? You still know this is your home, right? Don't you have no heart? Don't follow me. I'm afraid I won't be able to control myself and will hit you. My sister is afraid of me, but can't help being close to me. Mom said that she was bad at expressing herself. But Mom can't stand up anymore, and she hasn't even apologized so far. Soon I had several difficult cases on my hands. I didn't bother with Shenchen during that time. On her birthday that year, she came to see me again. I remember, it was raining heavily that day. She was at the station booth with a cake. Sister, happy birthday. Will you just take a bite? You take a bite. I'll be right back. I took the cake and she was happy. When I got back to the house, I threw it in the trash. When I got home that day, she kept smiling at me, but I got annoyed looking into those eyes. You're more disgusting than those criminals. See, she was a monster. No matter how hard I say something, she just laughs. If it's not a monster, what can it be? Later on, I seemed to be targeted. Because I've never missed a case I've taken on. I could draw a portrait of a suspect based on a split-second memory alone. And for that reason, I was hated. I know there's always a group of people watching me, but I've never revealed my face in the public eye. And the most information the criminals had was the picture with the exposed eyes. It didn't bother me in the slightest. I didn't think they could catch me. That day, I was spending my brother's birthday with him. That night, I got a tough case. The body had been smashed to pieces. The coroner put it together for 3 days and 2 nights. The culprit was extremely cruel and I swore that I would bring him to justice. One could imagine how badly the deceased had been abused during his lifetime. That was the only time I missed. The deceased only had 1 pair of eyes. I don't think she looks much like me. But the ones I draw always have the same eyes as mine. I don't think that's Shenchen. Ever since the car accident, when Mom lost her legs, she's been extra careful in everything she does. Even when passers-by say a word to her, she's scared to death. There's no way she could have messed with such a vicious criminal. So, this time, I missed. I couldn't draw her likeness. Officer Tan kept telling me to call Shenchen. Looking at the portrait in my hand, I was panicked for a moment. But soon, my phone received a text message from Shenchen. She wished me a happy birthday. I knew that this dead girl had a great life. But Ms. Qian came and said that the body was Zhou Xingxin's. Even Officer Tan said so. I don't believe her. I've lived with Zhou Xingxin for so many years. Can't I recognize her? To prove it to them. I moved the easel next to the deceased. I touched what was left of her silhouette while picking up the paintbrush. But when I saw that last painting, I still didn't believe it. My heart died. Officer Tan did a DNA comparison. How could that be Zhou Xingxin? It's hilarious. But Zhou Xingxin's cell phone was cracked. She was targeted by that gang. Just because of those eyes. Why did she say her name was Zhou Ye? I've always been indifferent to her. She should hate me. Why did she come forward? In the audio, every time she roared and struggled, it was a blow to my heart. Zhou Xingxin, to her death, wished me a happy birthday. I was a useless sister. With every audio, my heart was pounding. I also understood why she didn't cry when her mom had her leg amputated. My head was wooden. My body was shaking. I couldn't cry at all. Colleagues out of the police. I hugged her and cried over and over again. But in front of the people is again a look of indifference. The day my sister was buried, I didn't even go. I didn't dare. I didn't know how to face her. Didn't even dare to show up there. That month, every night was torture for me. In the aftermath, I didn't dare to pick up a paintbrush at all. Every time I picked up a brush it was a fear. I didn't even have the courage to pick up a pencil. What with the best sketch artist in the city, it was really all a bubble. I quit my job. I had a big mental problem. During the day, I was me. But at night, I was afraid of everything around me. In the long run, I started to self-harm. I started to go crazy and torture myself. I was filled with numbness to everything around me. The scars on my arms were intermittent. The old ones didn't fade away and new ones started up. I locked myself in my room every day. By the end of the day, I was having major mental problems. Xin, are you punishing my sister? I felt that the space around me was distorted. I was scared, and I felt that the tables were talking to me. They say it's all my fault. Sometimes. Even I can't recognize my parents' faces. Even my favorite brother. I can't remember what he looks like. Who are you guys? Stay back. Stay back. Ah. At the same time, I was refusing the hospital's treatment. Every day I imprisoned myself in my house, and in the long run, my body took on an abnormal white color. I forgot everything, but only remembered how to get to my sister's grave. I brought her favorite food and told her what the table and chair and bed in my room had told me. You see, even the tombstones were spitting at me. They're all saying I was wrong. Yes, I was indeed wrong. Shenchen. I'm sorry. Looking back, I gradually can't see the way I came. Right? Oh, what's the way home again? Also, then I will stay here to accompany Xin. I hugged Xinzin's tombstone, and finally had a trace of warmth in my heart. End.